Chapter 16: Education and Consciousness: Rebuilding the Mind of the Nation. The transformation toward a custodianship republic is not only a political and economic revolution, it is, above all, an intellectual and spiritual awakening. If the land is to be reclaimed, the mind must be liberated first. In this chapter, we focus on the education system, not merely as a tool of training, but as an engine for cultural rebirth, critical thinking, civic power, and self reliance. 1. Deconstructing the colonial curriculum. South Africa's education system remains deeply influenced by Eurocentric knowledge systems that alienate learners from their land, culture, and purpose. Transformations required. Rewrite school syllabi from foundation phase to tertiary level to center African history, indigenous knowledge, and global decolonial thought. Shift from rote learning to project based, critical thinking, and problem solving methodologies. Replace outdated economics and political science modules with custodianship, cooperative models, and ecological economics. Introduce land literacy, food production, environmental stewardship, and community law as core subjects. 2. A new pedagogy for a new society. We must not only change the content of education, but the purpose and method. Principles of the new pedagogy. Education as liberation, not obedience. Teachers as facilitators of critical inquiry, not gatekeepers of facts. Learning as community rooted, combining classroom knowledge with real life practice. Ubuntu education, education that teaches interconnectedness, responsibility, dignity, and compassion. 3. Mass political and economic literacy campaign. In times of transition, the greatest threat is confusion. A new economy and legal order require an emergency consciousness drive. Nationwide rollout. A national civic literacy program through radio, TV, mobile classrooms, and community halls. Produce materials in all local languages explaining custodianship, economic rights, land access, and democratic accountability. Organize people, schools, and village dialogues, where elders, youth, activists, and experts share and learn together. Mobilize a volunteer corps of mind builders, trained facilitators, deployed to every ward. 4. Reforming higher education, liberation over certification. Universities must stop being factories for producing elite professionals and become laboratories of nation building. Reform strategy. Create new faculties, custodianship law, decolonial economics, community innovation, and ecological engineering. Make all public university education free, funded by the wealth generated from nationalized resources. Encourage research and innovation that directly supports local economies, sustainable agriculture, alternative energy, and indigenous medicine. Include students and communities in governing university priorities and curriculum design. 5. Youth as agents of renewal. The youth must be placed at the center of transformation, not the periphery. Urgent actions. Launch the Youth for Custodianship program, a national youth service where participants work on land rehabilitation, cooperative farming, tech labs, and civic education. Provide monthly stipends, mentorship, and pathways to permanent work or enterprise. Equip youth with digital skills, engineering basics, construction, and entrepreneurship, all linked to the new strategic economy. Create a national youth parliament, constitutionally recognized, with decision making influence on policies affecting the youth. 6. Media, arts, and culture in the battle for consciousness. The media shapes how people think, feel, and act. Under custodianship, culture becomes a tool for truth, healing, and resistance. Strategies. Create public interest media hubs to produce documentaries, short films, podcasts, and news in local languages about the transformation. Fund a creative rebirth fund to support musicians, poets, visual artists, and performers who promote dignity, truth, and custodianship values. Use TV and radio for mass storytelling, especially about land, economy, memory, and freedom. Build cultural centers in townships and rural areas that house libraries, theaters, digital labs, and art studios. 7. Restoring indigenous wisdom and memory. No nation can be free if it forgets where it came from. Revival plans. Archive and teach indigenous governance models, justice systems, spiritual practices, architecture, farming, and conflict resolution. Recognize elders and traditional knowledge holders as professors and lecturers. Translate sacred texts, oral histories, and ancestral science into modern curricula. Incorporate ritual, dance, language, and totemic philosophy into mainstream education. Conclusion of Chapter 16. True transformation is not built on concrete, policies, or slogans. It is built on consciousness. If the people can read their world, they will rewrite it. Education under the custodianship republic becomes a national fire, spreading knowledge, hope, vision, and the will to build anew. A people who know who they are and why they exist cannot be defeated.